Please subscribe and don't forget to press the bell icon to get notified whenever we upload a new video.
Hello and welcome to Halftime Report. Well, the markets are holding with good gains today. We have started off the week on a positive note. The Nifty is up nearly around 100 points in just the first 90 minutes. A good going, Mangalam. It's a start of a game, and in fact, the first few overs itself, good runs on the board. Let's see whether or not this performance can hold on.
Good runs on the board, Nigel. Almost a century for the Nifty, 99.4 as we speak, and poetic because it's Sir Donald Bradman's 110th birthday. His test average was 99.4. So yes, going good for our markets. We will get a lot of managements and we will get you all the advice on how to trade with this as the Nifty is high by about 100 points. But first up, all the top stories that we're tracking this hour. RBI's February circular deadline to resolve stressed loans over 2,000 crore rupees ends today. At stake are about 70 accounts with loans over 3.5 lakh crores. Bankers working hard to resolve at least one-third, that is 15 to 16 accounts before the NCLT deadline hits.
And future retail gains. Reports suggest that Amazon will invest around $700 million for around 12 to 15% in the company. Reports also indicate that Google and Paytm might also pick up stake in future retail.
LIC Housing Finance slips 6.5% on the back of weak results. Morgan Stanley downgrades the stock to equal weight from overweight rating. They've also cut their FY20 and FY21 profit before tax estimates by 7% and 13% respectively.
And Jet Airways trades more or less flattish ahead of its board meet today when they'll announce their Q1 FY19 earnings. A weak quarter is expected with the company reporting a loss of over 400 crores. The board will also discuss cost reduction initiatives and turnaround plan for the airline.
Metal stocks like JSPL, Tata Steel, JSW Steel and Hindalco post gains as the US dollar index eases, increasing commodity prices. All right, we spoke about the Nifty hitting a century. We have the Nifty Bank 350 runs on that, the Sensex 350 on that as well, and the mid-cap index up 150 points as we speak. Individual stocks which are moving higher, we have Kaveri Seeds, which is at the high point of the day, and we have Motherson Sumi. That one should come up for you. That one too has moved higher as we speak, currently trading at the higher end of today's trading range. So what should you do now that the market is virtually at the high point of the day, the Nifty as well as the Sensex at a record high? Should you buy into this or perhaps wait, is something that Ashwini will answer just a bit. Ashwini, what would you suggest someone do right now? 100 points higher on the Nifty, 350 on the Sensex.
See, the best money is made early in the morning as the market is breaking out, and it gave you 350 on Bank Nifty, 100 on the Nifty. Now that's as much as this market on average does on a good day. So I don't think intraday now there is great value to enter at 350 points higher on Bank Nifty and hoping to get another 50 or 100 points. But if you entered in the morning, you're a positional type of player, I think then you can hold on to both Nifty and Bank Nifty. But intraday we've taken money off the table. So I don't think indices are great value right now on an intraday basis.
Okay. Having
said that, if you want individual stocks, I think Moil is looking very good. It's had a big decline from 285 downwards, and today it's up 10-11%. So my sense is this stock seems to have bottomed out. It generally tends to run up fairly quickly, and we could see maybe 270, 275 over a period of time. Even today, there should be more gains on the table. Kotak Mahindra Bank seems to be now finally creating some intermediate bottom. So that's a buy with a stop of 1265, target of 1310. And power companies, power assets are on the table. So REC, PFC seem to be moving up. So REC is a buy with a stop of 109, target of 118.
Ashwini, a word on Sun Pharma. That stock's had a good month in an otherwise, a weak year so far. This month itself, the stock is up around 11%. Most of that, has come in the last few days. Currently sitting at the low point of the day, with volume spiking on that one as well. As we speak, more than 21 lakh shares have traded on Sun Pharma on the National Stock Exchange. What would you suggest? What would you see this move as on the charts?
Well, for the moment, it seems like the worst is over, and any sort of correction towards, say, 600, 610 should allow you to buy it. See here, banks and pharma, IT, the rupee sensitives and the rate sensitives, they tend to alternate between the two. Now that rate sensitives have completed their correction, rupee sensitives are getting into one. So my sense is that these are corrections which should be bought.
Okay, all right. These are corrections that should be bought. Thanks so much, Ashwini, for joining in and giving us all those details. Well, one stock that's had a good run of late on the back of really strong alumina prices is Nalco. So that's the stock in focus. Remember, prices in the last 1 month or so are up by around 18 to around 20%. But is this alumina price rally sustainable? To discuss that and more, we have Mr. T.K. Chand, the Chairman and Managing Director of the company, who joins us on the phone line. Hi, Mr. Chand. Thanks so much, sir, for joining in today.
Good morning.
Good morning, sir. Good morning. You know, the last time you joined us, you told us that prices had moved from around $480 per ton to around $580 per ton, very approximately. Yeah. Can you tell us whether or not there's a bit of a downtick from there, from those high alumina prices, or have they moved even higher? What is the rate at which your last shipment went?
Yeah, it has moved up. Our last shipment was 580.
Okay.
And it is now 623. Oh. And the tender has been opened and finalized on 24th, 2 days back. Okay. And if you see the beginning of the month, tender price was $530. Okay. And it has increased to 623. That means within a period of 20 to 21 days, it has moved by 18%. Mm-hmm. And we are expecting that the prices will further move up.
All right, Mr. Chand, you expect the prices to further move up. This is interesting because, you know, earlier when it was around 700 plus, we saw a sharp decline to around 490. And from there, we've seen a move up to around 623 as you are speaking. Do you think you can see levels of close to around 700 thereabouts coming in the very near future? And are the prices sustainable at these levels? Is there a risk of the price going down in the near future?
We are expecting that in short term, these prices will be moving up, and we expect that the prices will be move between 550 to 675. And in a long term, we can expect that because these prices are becoming quite high as far as aluminium prices, if we see the LME. So therefore, the prices would be sustainable in a short term period, and we expect that the coming quarter movement would be high. It would be remaining firm because global inventory is low, and there is also 30% drop in Brazilian export. Okay. And one more factor which is leading to increase in the prices in the tender, because some of the traders who have made long-term contracts for supply to the manufacturers, they are a little bit desperate when they are not getting in the market the cargo, and they are competing. And we have seen in our tender there is a keen competition amongst the customers to have the cargo. So therefore, given this market situation, we expect in the short term prices will move up.
Right, Mr. Chand, you know, let's get this point right. You're saying that the latest tender has come in at around $623 per ton. If I look at it, sir, in the last 1 month from the lows that we saw in July, the price is up by 25%, you know, from around $490 to $620. Now you're giving us a wide range of around $550 to $675 per ton. So you're expecting, you're confident that the next tender as well will go at a higher price? Is that the sense that you're getting?
Yeah, we are getting this sense after seeing the tender quoted by different customers. Okay. They have quoted, there is a keen competition in the, it is not that one tender has given such a high price, others are not, but it's a very highly contested. And the gap that last tender is 580 and this is 623, that means 43. Okay. That means the customers are putting the price so that they don't lose the cargo. All right. So that's why we are expecting that given the market situation now and Brazilian drop in its export of 30%, in short term definitely it is going up.
You know, Mr. Chand, the stock price in fact is moving higher as we speak as well. So the market is clearly hearing you out. The last time you had told us you are expecting that the deficit in the market will be roughly around what? Around 500,000 to around 1 million. Yeah. So what is the recent number that you have with you? What is the deficit that you think in terms of alumina as well as aluminium? Give us a sense of those numbers.
In case of alumina, it will be somewhere between 7 lakh ton to 1 million ton.
Okay.
And in case of aluminium, it will be a marginal deficit of around 3 lakh ton to 4 lakh ton.
Okay. Mr. Chand, you know, the last time you spoke to us, you said that for every $10 increase in alumina prices, your EBITDA increases by around 65 crores. Does that still hold?
Yeah, it has increased now because every $10 increase now gives, over a year, it gives 91 crore EBITDA increase.
Okay, so
and
that is
in a quarter, it gives around 23 crores.
23 crores per quarter and 91 crores. And that has increased from the erstwhile 65 crores, is that what you're saying?
Yeah, it has increased because of exchange rate variation.
Okay. All right. Very quickly, Mr. Chand, the coal availability has improved. What is the current status out there?
Yeah, coal availability position continues to be grave. But we are managing with that because we have been importing some power from state grid.
Okay.
And our production is on. But situation of the coal is grave, and we are expecting that because of this monsoon season that is over, then only this coal position will improve.
All right. Finally, Mr. Chand, before we let you go, a word on aluminum prices for the remainder of this year. And though it is, you know, a small part of your business as far as your operational performance is concerned, can we expect some improvement there?
Yeah, the aluminum prices, we are expecting that from the third quarter onwards it will move up. Because as such right now global inventory is low.
Okay.
And there is little short supply in the marginal short supply in the market. This preponement of Chinese winter cut, once it happens, it will make it move from the third quarter onwards. So right now we are expecting that the prices will remain in the range of 2050 to 2150 because there will be a cost push factor because of the high alumina prices.
Okay. All right. Okay, Mr. Chand, thanks so much, sir, for joining and giving us those details. So the number you need to keep your eye out on is $623 per ton in terms of alumina realizations. And that's really a rather large number because just a month ago, it was at around $490 per ton. We'll keep an eye out on that and we'll keep getting you the recent rates in terms of alumina pricing. Slip into a short break, come back. We'll focus on RBI's February circular deadline. That, in fact, to resolve the stress loans over 2,000 crores. That ends today. More details when we return.
Well, still holding at the high point of the day for the markets. Individual stocks, they're buzzing around. Our director shows us Page Industries up 750 rupees today as we speak. Most of the gains coming by in the last 15 odd seconds. Currently surging around that 35,350 rupees odd. But remember, today is August 27th, a big day for banks and borrowers. The RBI's Feb 12th circular has said that all stressed loans over rupees 2,000 crores must be resolved in 6 months or taken to the bankruptcy court. That is the NCLT. The 6-month deadline ends today. Ritu Singh joins us here to tell us which are these companies which are likely to be taken to the NCLT and which may be resolved. Ritu?
Well, you know, 27th August is the deadline for those companies for which the clock started on 1st of March, which were in default at the time of the issuance of the Feb 12 circular. There are certain companies, as you know, as the managing director of SBI clarified to us earlier, for which the default may have occurred later, and therefore the deadline will end sometime later next month. But for the list that we've been able to access, there are about 70 to 80 companies that will fall under the purview of the Feb 12 circular. However, the good news is that a lot of these have already been referred to the NCLT or are in the process of being referred to NCLT, and most of these accounts are already non-performing assets, so there's no incremental hit that banks will really have to take on their P&L when they work on these cases because of the Feb 12 circular. As far as we understand, there are 15 to 16 accounts that banks are hoping they can resolve before that deadline ends by end of today. These accounts in the power sector, which forms the bulk of this list, include Avanta Jhabua Power, there's Coastal Energen, JP Power, Powers, SKS Power, Prayagraj Power, KSK Mahanadi and GMR Chhattisgarh. For these buyers have been identified across the Adanis, the Tatas, Edelweiss ARC and a Singapore-based fund called AgriTrade. And for some of the others, they're also working out a long-term restructuring plan. Then there is a list of companies for which no resolution was possible and therefore banks have decided to refer them to NCLT. These include Jindal India Thermal Power, Ratan India, Sai Valda, Shravanti, Semapuri. That whole list will be on your screen right now. There's also other power companies which, according to the Finance Ministry, already stand resolved. That list is also on your screen now. There's Kanti Bijli, there's also Adani Power, Adhunik Power, DB Power, several of these cases. But about the non-power sector now, where there's an equally long list of companies that fall under the purview. There are some where banks are hopeful they will be able to find a resolution. These include Ballarpur, Supreme, Matix, Bombay Rayon and Surat Hazira. And there's the list of other companies which will have to be referred to NCLT, including Punj, Lloyd, JBF, Garden, Silk Mills, Rohit Ferrotech, etc. But one specific case, if I could, take one more minute to mention, is Reliance Communications. It definitely falls under the Feb 12 circular, but given that that case is already being heard in NCLAT, it's not likely that banks will take any action on that until that hearing is completed. Hear out what the Managing Director of State Bank of India, Arijit Basu, had to say on these.
August 27th would be the deadline for those accounts which were already under stress as on the 1st of March. Because of the February 27th circular, there is no change in as far as asset recognition is concerned, that is taking it to an NPA. Merely because of the February 12th circular, there is no change as far as either NPA recognition or provisioning is concerned for banks. I think in case of power sector, there were a total number of 34 stressed assets that we were closely looking at. As per our estimates, around 8 power assets are already working fine. Some sort of resolution has already happened in them. And there are about 14 cases where they are already referred to NCLT. There is another set of accounts, which is, I think, around 10 or 11 in number, which we looked at very closely. And I think in 7 of them, we are very close to a resolution. I think as far as our records go, the amount which has already, where the accounts are now doing reasonably well, is close to 35-40,000 crore.
In the SBI Samadhan, originally you all began with 10 cases and then your chairman said 7. I spoke to several bankers. They are not sure that they are going to sign all the 7. So that 7 cases were 70,000 crores, sir. How much do you think your provisioning may go up or down if these 7 are resolved?
See, provisioning, if these cases were not to be resolved, then there is no change in the provisioning because it would be as per the aging provision and the time taken to resolve these cases if it goes into NCLT. The provisioning actually would come in case we are able to resolve it immediately.
Then you can reduce provision.
Then we can, immediately we are required to provide, required to provide a little more because we have provided a certain amount in these accounts. On your first point about some of the banks saying that, I think, yes. So it all depends on various things. In some cases, as per our information, all the banks have actually agreed. And let's see how it goes. We are all working very closely.
For these 7 cases, how much is the haircut?
See, one principle that we have followed is that we would like to have at least 50% of the debt. That is one of the principles followed when we decided on the recovery, on the resolution.
Right then, time to slip into a short break. Up next, we'll be joined by Mr. Reddy, the MD of Gayatri Projects, on the other side. Stay with us. Welcome back then. As we speak, well, the market's holding on to very, very strong gains as we speak. In fact, moving higher. Metal stocks are doing well. Vedanta is following up Friday's rally with another % jump up. In fact, that's happened in the last few minutes. Hindalco as well is doing well. So that stock, in fact, is up close to around 2.5% odd. We'll try to get the management later today from the Motilal Oswal conference as well. That stock is moving higher. And a couple of these ancillaries, if steel is going to do well, then you'll say that, in fact, Orient Refractories. Refractories are used in steel making. That should do well. There was a large trade earlier today as well. And Orient Refractories is up nearly around 10%. So keep an eye out on that one. And I think that's the same logic at which Moil as well is moving higher, because manganese ore will be in higher demand if you're going to be producing more steel, that too at higher prices. So a couple of these stocks doing well, moving higher as we speak. But Gayatri Projects, that's the stock we're going to be focusing on. Remember, they've clarified that the company will not be impacted by the February 12th circular. We have Mr. Reddy, the managing director of the company, who joins us on the line. Hi, Mr. Reddy. Thanks so much for joining in, sir. The deadline ended today. If you could give us the status of your account, what is it categorized under as of now? Have you all made some payments? Tell us, what's the update?
Yeah, hi. In fact, as of February 12th, we were actually in a technical NPA, but we have resolved the whole issue by end March itself. Okay. End March, we had repaid all the overdues to the banks, and as of now, we have no overdues to all the banks. So we have been servicing all our debts on time, and as you can see that even our credit rating has been upgraded. It will be further upgraded in future too. So, and going forward, we have completed all our restructuring of our road portfolio into a separate company, and we are having an order book now of nearly 18,000 crores. We have won, in fact, nearly 5,000 crores of orders in the first quarter of this year.
Right.
So
we'll talk about your order book, Mr. Reddy, just in a bit, but just a couple of pointers. As of Feb 12th, what was the debt on your books? And after you repaid, what is the debt on your books, which it stands at currently? And did you receive any sort of clarification from the banks saying that your asset is now, or rather your loan is now standard?
No, we have as of February 12th, we had a debt of around 1,800 crores. Okay. We repaid about all the overdue amounts because we were looking for a...
How much was that? What was that amount? What was that amount?
1,800 crores was the debt as of 12th February.
And the overdues?
As of March, the overdues were approximately nearly 200 crores.
Okay. And you made that payment, right, Mr. Reddy?
Yeah, entire payment was paid by end of March. Okay. Everything, up to date. Up to date, by end of March, we had cleared everything.
So what's the debt now?
Debt now is, net debt is around 1,700 crores.
1,700 crores?
Yes.
What was the rate at which you were borrowing at? You said that now you have got an upgrade. So what is the rate you will be borrowing at?
Now also it's about 11%. And we are still not upgraded. We are double B.
Earlier it was, okay, so it's 11% and you're hoping that you will get some kind of benefit. So the borrowing rate could effectively come down.
Yes.
Okay, and any further debt reduction plans from here, from 1,700 crores? See, or you're comfortable now?
Every year we would be now servicing our debt reduction as per the schedule of our repayment. Because just to give the one more summary which might bring more clarity to you, out of our entire debt of 1,700 crores, approximately 900 crores is working capital debt, and the balance is term loans, which include equipment term loans and the other term loans which are being under repayment over the next 3-4 years. So we are as per the schedule of repayment now, and hopefully in the next 2 years we are hoping to reduce our debt to come down to at least 0.5:1 debt equity.
What is that absolute number will be?
Absolute number could come down to some 1,200 crores.
Okay, thanks so much, Mr. Reddy, for joining in and giving us all those details. We have completely run out of time on Chartbusters. You stay tuned. Trading Hour comes up next.